Food for Thought with Professor David Bittay.
It's another beautiful day where we get to hang out with our favorite professor. Food for Thought with Professor Ndetey, talking on mental health issues. We have been discussing violence in our schools, and we pick up this conversation from where we left off last week. I'm just trying to think as a parent, if I receive that call and I'm told that my son is the one who set the school on fire, what do I do? Do I take him to the police station? Because now, isn't this a criminal case? Property has been damaged, probably somebody has died. Or do they need psychological help? How am I supposed to handle this?
I think it's a very difficult decision for the parent.
Yeah.
And an example of this is what was running the social media of this father who really whipped
the daughter, yes,
very badly, like he was whipping a dog or something. And the girl was screaming, and the father was saying, "How can you do this? I have never been called to school," because you remember that it was running the social media.
Yes.
I'm not saying it is the right thing to do, but it may have set an example that if you do this thing and daddy gets to know about it, then this might happen to you. It's deterrent for other people. But at the very initial stages, we might be dealing with the person or the bully or the perpetrator who has got a psychological problem. So as much as there's a crime that is committed and the law has to follow its calls, as long as there's a disciplinary action, the parents is very, very angry for very understandable reasons. I think at the end of the day, it's important for that child to be assessed to find out whether there is a problem. So it is multifaceted approach, yes, but we should always give the benefit of the doubt to the child that they may have a problem, which needs to be addressed. I've talked about conduct disorders, which are very common. I've talked about oppositional disorders, which are very common. I've talked about ADHD, which are very common. These are conditions that are very common in children. So many children will have problems. This is also very important for the parents to know. Children have problems. And when they have problems, one of the common symptoms is violence or unacceptable behavior, which is what the parents see, which is what the teachers see. But what is behind that? And this is what we want to find out.
Okay. In such situations where there's extreme violence or there is even something like a fire, I know we are talking about the students, but what about the teachers? Do they also go through trauma when such incidences happen?
Let me give you the example of Changuli. I don't know whether you heard about this.
Yes.
It happened, I think, in 2002, when two boys set two dormitories on fire. 87 children died.
Wow.
Burned to death. In fact, there is a mass grave over there. And the people who were very much traumatized were the children, the survivors, the children who survived, the teachers, and the parents. It was a very, very complicated thing. This is one of the things that I volunteered to help, and I found it very difficult to help because the parents didn't want to talk to the teachers. Because they thought the teachers were responsible, they should have done something. The teachers didn't, they were also taken by surprise. So for us and my team, and we just volunteer, I don't know why I do some of these things, we just chose to volunteer. And we realized one of the things that we needed to do was to bring dialogue between the parents and the teachers. Because everybody was traumatized. The teachers were traumatized, the parents were traumatized, the relatives were traumatized, the children were traumatized. It affects everybody.
Wow. I can't even begin to imagine. So for something like that, how long did you have to work with these individuals and just walking with them and counseling them and helping them get through all that? How long did it take?
We took, it started in Changuli, There's one guy who came to help us, and I did this with my students.
Yeah.
We studied Changuli in the school. We started talking about them, and eventually we now zeroed down on those who had problems. We didn't know where to meet them. We didn't have money to hire places. So then the Machakos, can't call it at the municipal council, they gave us a place where we could meet them. And when we didn't have the Catholic Church, they gave us some space at Machakos, at their church in Machakos.
Yeah.
So we continued talking with them,
Okay.
and then it went on. I don't know for how long it went on, and occasionally we get those people coming to talk to us, just to find out what had happened, because we needed to support them. Many of them developed high blood pressure, so we had sent others. They started dying of physical conditions. So it was a long process. I don't know how long we took, but it was a long process.
Okay.
We are working with those guys.
Is it possible to be traumatized because of what happens to somebody else?
Yes.
As an observer?
Yes. Absolutely, yes. Yeah. If you watch somebody who is being traumatized, it can affect you. So witnessing trauma, it does not have to affect you, but if you witness it, it happening to other people, it can also traumatize you. And you can develop the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
For a parent who has a child who keeps telling them they're being bullied in school, do they take them out of that school? Do they confront this issue head on? You know, because like you said earlier, even from the experience you're giving us about the research you are doing, sometimes when you bring up these issues in some of our schools, the first thing is denial.
Yes.
They deny very strongly. And they say this never happens in this school, it can never happen. And so it becomes like a dead end for you as a parent. But if your child keeps talking about this issue, what do you do? Do you take them out?
I think as a parent, your first priority is your child. If you, as a parent, and now we are talking to other parents, if the child tells you that they are being bullied, and you go and talk to the teachers, and they deny it, and it's like nothing is happening, surely you as a parent, you have a responsibility to find an alternative for your child.
Yeah.
But in my view, the best way to go about it is what we are doing now. Let everybody know that it is happening. There is no point in denying it. Let's all agree that we have this problem. And let's put in mechanism for minimizing or, if possible, eliminating this problem. It has occurred. We have demonstrated that it can actually occur in certain schools, and I've given you an example of Starehe Boys. Then, as I said, I don't know how it is now. It can be eliminated. And the only way to do it is everybody in the school to understand that this and that constitute bullying. So that the people who are bullied and the bullies understand. And that if it happens, the child has a way of reporting to the authorities in such a way that the bully will not know who reported. Yeah, I think if we can do it and make it a very common knowledge, we may move in the right direction.
What if it is the teacher who is the bully? And I'm asking this because I have a personal experience where my daughter was in a school and the matron was a bully. Yeah, the matron was a bully, so much so that one time, that time my daughter was boarding. Yeah, this is in upper primary school. She had decided she wants to board because the brother was boarding. So we said, fine, let's try it out and see if it worked for you. But it became a bit problematic. And I remember one time, the matron actually dismissed my daughter, told her to go home. And my daughter walks out of the school and she ends up at a friend's place. So the mom of this friend is the one who's calling me and asking me, do you know your daughter is at my house? This is at 8 in the night. So I'm thinking, what do you mean? And so I get to find out the matron dismissed her. Go. Because last weekend you went home and we didn't want you to go home. Just go. She had no fare to come home. There was no transport facility to bring her home, so she just went where she knew, to her friend's house. And I was thinking, in a situation like that, anything could have happened. But now, as always is sometimes the case, the school denies. But eventually, after I removed my daughter, because I came to the conclusion that you just said that my daughter's safety is more important than anything else. So I took her out and took her to another school, a day school. But it was several months later, close to a year, after many other complaints, that now the matron was dismissed. And I kept wondering, did it have to take that long? Hence the question, what if it is a teacher or an administration staff within the school who's a bully? How do you handle that?
Well, that's not an easy question.
Yeah.
Because teachers are human beings.
Yes.
They can have personality problems. They can have issues on their own. They can be depressed. They can be arrogant. They can be stressed. They may have very many reasons for being irritable. So I think the principle or the general approach is the same. And if there are teachers or principals who are listening to this, let them know that they are teachers, also human beings. They can have issues.
Yeah.
And the approach is not to deny. Is to find out whether it is actually happening.
Yes.
And if there's a teacher with a problem, if they are bullies, not because they really sit down and decide to be bullies, it's because they have an underlying problem which they do not understand. And therefore, as much as we want, when it comes to children, that this and that may constitute bullying, then from the teachers, for the teachers, this and that may constitute some kind of aggressiveness from the teachers. And one in your case, just in the case that you just mentioned, surely, even if that teacher had to send your daughter away, was that the right way to do it?
No.
Why couldn't they have just called you and taken the responsibility to make a connection between the school and the parent? Supposing something terrible had happened in between, who would be responsible? So that tells you a lot.
Yes.
Yes.
Our time is up for today. Thank you so much for your feedback and for being a part of Food for Thought with Professor Ndetey. As always, if you have topics you feel we need to get into and to dig deeper into, feel free to send in your suggestions and also give us feedback on whether this information is beneficial to you. Until next week, when we wrap up this session and this discussion, have a good day.
Food for Thought with Professor David Bittet.
Thank you for watching. Remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get notified whenever we upload new fresh content every day. Stay tuned and enjoy fresh, uplifting content.